And this is the 49th anniversary of the world premiere of George Gershwin's Porgy and Bess. Actually, yesterday's the 49th anniversary. It was September 30th, 1935. And we thought some music from Porgy and Bess might sound very good today. One song infrequently heard until some years ago, a few years ago, from the opera is I Love You, Porgy. In the opera itself, it is sung by Bess after she has taken refuge with Porgy, but she knows that her old lover, Crown, will come back someday, and she will probably go away with him. It's interesting that through the years, when the score to Porgy and Bess was arranged for recording, this song was usually omitted. No one felt it had much commercial possibility until, 12 or 15 years ago, when Nina Simone took I Love You, Porgy and made it into a jazz classic.
I love you, Porgy, don't let him take me. Don't let him handle me and drive me mad. If you can keep me, I want to stay with you forever, and I'll be glad. Yes, I love you, Porgy, don't let him take me. Don't let him handle me with his hot hands. If you can keep me, I want to stay here with you forever. I've got my man. Don't let him handle me, drive me mad. If you can keep me, I wanna stay here with you forever. I've got my man. Someday I know he's coming to call me. He's going to handle me and hold me so. It's going to be like dying, Porgy, when he calls me. But when he comes, I know I'll have to go. I love you, Porgy, don't let him take me. Honey, don't let him handle me and drive me mad. If you can keep me, I want to stay here with you forever. I've got my man.
That's Nina Simone, and this is an anniversary. Well, yesterday was an anniversary for Porgy and Bess. a few more things from the score in a minute. 90% of the people in this country have never flown first class. Most of us just don't want to spend that extra money, and a lot of companies don't permit their employees to fly first class. And so they will never know what it means and miss absolutely nothing. That's my theory, anyway. First class, you get a little bigger seat in an airline, you get a little better food or a little bigger choice, and that's about it. You stand there and wait for your luggage with everybody else when you fly first class. You don't even have a separate waiting room. You wait with us peasants who are going. Did you know there is a first-class airline? It's the official airline of our program, Air One. They bring people in for our special shows, and they take people out, and they're just terrific. Freddie is going on a record-buying trip for the comedy show. He's flying Air One down to Dallas, Texas. They fly to Dallas. They fly to Houston. They fly to Los Angeles. They fly to Washington. They fly to New York. And they will fly you in first-class comfort at the discount coach fare. That's right. For the same fare that you'd pay in an ordinary airplane for a seat in the cramped coach section, Air One flies you first class, and they really do mean first class. Example, while you're checking in, they take your order for your meals and your drinks, and so when you get on board, everything has been pre-ordered and it's whisked to your seat. Your seat is all leather, by the way. It's about this much wider than other airline seats. It reclines. It's a wonderful way to relax on a flight. And when you get there, your baggage is waiting. You come into St. Louis, your baggage beats you into the airport. It's true. No half-hour wait for a suitcase. Now, let me tell you one other thing. Los Angeles is $179 each way. There are a few restrictions, so you better find out. And if you've got a flight booked on some other airline, flying to New York or Los Angeles or Dallas, Fort Worth or Houston or Washington, for heaven's sakes, change it over to Air One. You're going to love Air One. It's a St. Louis airline doing a wonderful job with a great staff of eager people who care about you. 428-2100. Air One. Write it down. 428-2100.
Now you can enjoy the lifestyle of choice at Lake St. Charles, this area's most distinctive retirement community, where affordable luxury is exclusively yours, with your choice of studio, 1- or 2-bedroom apartments available in each of our Kensington, Wellington, or Charleston wings. Lake St. Charles knows that you deserve a lifestyle of choice, with luxury that's now affordable, in many ways more affordable than your present home or condominium. Because at Lake St. Charles, you have the choice of 3 types of apartment homes, each in 3 styles, even a choice of meal plans in our gourmet dining room. But no matter which you choose, you will have weekly maid service, an emergency call button in your bedroom and bathroom, 24-hour security, and a wealth of other amenities. And there's never any endowment or entry fee at Lake St. Charles. So call us today at 947-1100. That's 947-1100. Or visit us at 45 Honey Locust in St. Charles, where you can find out more about the affordable luxury and lifestyle of choice at Lake St. Charles.
We're going to paint our house. We never did like the color of our... Well, it's a color we picked and put it on there, and then when it was all done, I said, yeah. Plus, it's not holding up the way it should. Well, it isn't. I think what happened there was we had a painter that was kind of a nitwit. He's gone. Doing something else, hopefully. I hope he's not painting for people. He moved out of town. Should have left the country. Anyway, what am I talking about? Painting our house. We're going to do it, and this time we're going to do it so that it stays painted forever, and we're going to use the best paint you can buy. What do you suppose that is? I mean, everybody has their own opinion. I got in trouble here saying that Vane Calvert made the best paint in the world. Another paint company said, he's got to prove that. Okay, I'm not saying that anymore. We've shopped, and we've looked at paint, and we've compared paint and decided, because painting your house is a big, thing, big investment. And we have checked them out, both the local paints and the national paints. We're going to use Vane Calvert. Why not? It was good enough for the World's Fair back in 1904. That's how far back Vane Calvert goes. VaneCalvert. It's got to be one of the first paints made in St. Louis. They started in 1867. And Vane Calvert uses expensive ingredients and has intensive quality control so that their paint always works out better for you. I mean, they test it for chalking, and they test it for wear, and they test it for coverage, too, because do you ever have a paint, you paint it, and then you look back, I got to put another coat on. That's because there was too much water in your water-based paint, or too much solvent in your oil-based paint, or not enough of the expensive ingredients that cover Not a problem with Vane Calvert. Lots of fine stores carry Vane Calvert. When you see the name, know that you're talking about one of the oldest and finest paints available anywhere. Vane, V-A-N-E, Calvert. C-A-L-V-E-R-T, Vane Calvert Paints. Available at many fine stores throughout the St. Louis area. It's 22 minutes after 11 o'clock, and it appears to be a sunshiny day outside, despite the fact that it has definitely cooled off. And I think my prediction might be true that 84 will go into the record books as the year we only had 2 seasons. We had summer and winter, but no spring at all. One day it was 50, the next day it was 90, and it looks like that the warm weather's going to go out the same way. We were in the country this weekend, used up a half a load of firewood. It was beautiful out there, absolutely beautiful. And 2 doves have come to live at our house, and they sit outside on the railing and they bill and coo. They're so pretty. It was really a lovely weekend. I guess fall is definitely here and gone, and cold weather is right around the corner, and our friends at Calico Corner have over 50,000 yards of gorgeous decorator fabrics in stock at this very minute, at prices up to 60% off. There are silks and satins and cottons and prints and plaids and velvets and just everything you can imagine. 30 to 60% savings, too, on famous name draperies, slipcover, and upholstery fabrics. I've told you before the difference with Calico Corners, how they buy seconds from the finest mills and how they buy only the very top quality, top grade seconds, ones that you can't even tell are seconds with the naked eye. Calico Corners. There's a chain of these stores across the country, each one individually owned and operated, but they buy together. And when they go to the mills know that if they sell seconds to Calico Corners, they'll never be represented as first quality. Calico Corners, where you'll find beautiful fabrics and where you'll find savings of like 60% every day of the week. And a very, very fine sales staff, too. If you don't see exactly what you want at Calico Corners, all you've got to do is tell them what you're looking for, and they'll call you as soon as it comes in. They're on German Boulevard, first stoplight on Lindbergh, just north of Highway 40, Calico Corners. They've got a telephone number, too, if you'd like to jot it down. It's 993-1388. Calico Corners for everyday savings of 60% on the most beautiful fabrics you've ever seen. The opera Porgy and Bess made very little money for George Gershwin. You know, as a composer, he wrote the music, and then it went to copyists who had to copy the violin parts and so on and so forth. He did not make enough money to pay for the copy work done on his elaborate orchestrations, but he didn't expect it to be a success financially for him. Critical reaction, however, that was something he'd anticipated, and that was mixed. Duke Ellington criticized George Gershwin and DuBose Hayward. He said that the music might have been all right, but they hadn't captured the flavor of the South or the black man. Nonetheless, the opera was a success. After all, it had been the first American folk opera, and at least musically it reached the heights of, say, a Huckleberry Finn. There were many who felt that Porgy and Bess would live forever, and they were the ones who were closest to right. Something else from the score of Porgy and Bess, done by Mel Torme.
Bess, oh, where's my Bess? Won't somebody tell me where? I don't care what she says, I don't care what she's done. Won't somebody tell me where's my Bess? Bess, oh Lord.
She's gone
Yes,
but
I
too very
wonder
quickly. She's
now.
gone back to the happy time.
Without
She
her,
done brought
I
Jesus
can't
out
go
of her
on.
heart. That's that kind of gal
I counted
told
the
you
days
about.
that I was good till I got home
Without that woman
to
hanging
see
round and making
her
trouble.
face. Somebody tell me where's my boy? Oh, I want her so, my gal. Yes. Where is she? Oh, Lord,
She got back to the happy time. She
please
got
show
back to the
me
right
where I must go.
and she's heading for hell.
Oh, give me the
Thank God
strength.
she
Show me love. Tell me the truth. Where is she? Where is my gal? Where is my boy?
This is the 49th anniversary, what yesterday was, of the world premiere of Porgy and Bess. And as I said, those most accurate in their appraisal of the work were those who said it would probably last forever. And I think that's probably true. The music has been handled differently through the years, but basically it has remained intact, the way that George Gershwin wrote it and the way that it was presented 49 years ago when Porgy and Bess first opened on Broadway. The finale to Porgy and Bess, we've omitted that today, called Oh Lord, I'm on My Way. And if you remember, we had a marvelous production of Porgy and Bess. The Houston Opera was here in St. Louis a few years ago at the Muni. It did such an exhausting production that they had to alternate Porgies. It was, well, of course, the huge stage at the Muni made it even a tad more difficult production than it is already, but it was something that you'd remember for a lifetime, the Muni production of Porgy and Bess, or the Houston Opera production, which was presented at the Muni. But if you remember this song, it's the finale. Porgy and Bess have had something very special, a tender love, and then Crown comes and takes Bess away. He offers her the drugs and the high life, and she goes, while Porgy is away. And Porgy returns and finds that Bess has left for the big city, and so he tells his neighbors, who tell him that it's just as well that she was no good for him. He tells them to help him into his little cart. He has a tiny cart that's pulled by a goat. He's totally crippled, and they lift him into the cart. And he sings the finale, which tells his neighbors and the world that he will not forget Bess and that he's following her to the big city. And the song is called, Oh Lord, I'm on my way.
Oh Lord, I'm on my way. I'm on my way to heavenly land. I ride the long, long road. If you were there to guide my hand, oh Lord, I'm on my way. I'm on my way to heavenly land. Oh Lord, it's a long, long way, but you'll be there to take my hand. Oh Lord, I'm on my way. I'm on my way to a heavenly land. I'm on that long, long road. If you are there to guide my hand, oh Lord, I'm on my way. I'm on my way to a heavenly land. Oh Lord, it's a long, long way, but you'll be there to take my hand. Oh Lord, I'm on my way. I'm on my way to heavenly land. I'm the long, long road. If you are there to guide my hand, oh Lord, I'm on my way. on my way. Would you be there to take my hand?
Well, these were notes on Porgy and Bess. I was just looking. Did that come with an album or just that one? You brought that in. This came, but there was no album, was there? No. That's the end of our notes on Porgy and Bess. And I was asking Frank about something else, another recording that we'll get to in just a minute or two.
When your Mid-America Ford dealer celebrates Ford National Truck Week, it's big. So big it takes more than 1 week to celebrate. You're going to get truck deals that are really big. Right now, get the 85 you've been looking for. There's a great selection of Bronco and Bronco 2s. Get a Truck Week deal on all 2- and 4-wheel drive full-size pickups. In fact, we've got great selections on 85 Ford trucks and vans in stock. There's big savings on 84s, too. Save $744 on Ford full-size F-150 special value package pickups with manual transmissions. These savings are based on manufacturer's suggested retail price per package compared to traditional suggested pricing of options purchased separately. The package includes bright low-mount swing-away mirrors, heavy-duty battery, heavy-duty shock absorbers, and more. So get down to your Mid-America Ford dealer now during this big National Truck Week celebration. Get the truck you want and the deal you're looking for. It all ends October 6th, so see your Mid-America Ford dealer today.
Can you imagine buying a Drexel sofa for $799 or a Heritage masterpiece for $999? And you could order the custom covers that you want and select from over 100 beautiful fabrics, and also love seats are specially priced. Now, let me give you those prices again. Drexel sofas, $7.99. Heritage at $9.99. All Drexel and Heritage sofas are crafted with great quality. Hardwood frames, 8-way hand-tied coiled springs and stuff that. And where's all this going on? Well, you know it's at Caraphiles. The selection is fantastic. Traditional styles, contemporary styles, country styles. The Drexel Heritage Sofa sale is going on right now. But the sale ends Saturday at both of the Caraphile stores. Incidentally, we should check out the Caraphile stores. I think you'd find a greater selection. What does this say have here? This is a survey of the most popular color. This is from Furniture Today. It says retailers name the color showing the fastest growth. And the color that is showing the fastest growth in furniture selection today is a dusty rose color, followed by a dark blue, then a light blue, then a dark brown, then a light lavender or a lilac, then a natural. Isn't that something? That's out of Furniture Today. The selection, let's get back to the selection of love seats and sofas on sale at Caraphile's. So impressive. And today, both Caraphile stores are open until 9 o'clock. Caraphile Manchester store is in Caraphile Plaza, Manchester and Weedman Road, and the Bridgeton store, Caraphile Square on St. Charles Rock Road at McKelvey. Two perfectly delightful places to shop. Enormous stores, a huge selection, very helpful people, and now some wonderful sale prices if you're shopping for a sofa or a love seat. There's a lot going on in television, and I thought today would be a good day to check with our television editor, Pete Ron. Pete, good morning.
Good morning, Jack. How are you today?
Fine. I think I asked you earlier if you had watched the movie, made-for-television movie last night about the fellow who has a heart attack.
James Garner and Mary Tyler Moore.
You didn't watch it.
No,
I didn't watch it. My wife watched it, and when she came upstairs after watching it, she was crying, so it must have been pretty well done.
Yes, it was. As I understand, Norman Lear was a producer of that show, and it was based on a nonfiction, on an account written by Martha Lear, who was the man's wife. He was a New York urologist, I understand, had a heart attack, and I call them affliction of the week shows. And I've been kind of shying away from those things. I've had quite enough of them, Jack.
Do we have more coming?
Oh yeah, so they're around every year. I can't name it offhand, but they'll be back.
Well, we get them on rape, on child molesting. Last night was heart attack. I don't remember a cancer one, but certainly there's been one.
Oh yeah, it's going all the way back to Brian's song.
Oh yeah.
Started it all.
That's one of my favorite movies in the world.
Yeah, as I say, started all. That's the first one I remember anyway. It was a very good show. But well, baseball playoffs start tomorrow, Jack, and there's some interesting counter programming coming up.
Now, what do you mean by counter program?
Well, in CBS's case, they're going to have 3 movies that are made particularly for a women's audience, and actually the first one's on tonight against football, and it stars Joanne Woodward, Lindsay Wagner, and Richard Crenna, named Passion. And here's a love triangle. Richard Crenna plays a character who has a mistress at the beach at Malibu, played by Lindsay Wagner, and Joanne Woodward is his wife, who lives in the posh section of Brentwood or the hills of Beverly. I was never quite sure of that.
Yeah.
And anyway, he also has a stroke. He goes out of the scene in about the first half hour of the play, and the 2 women meet in the hospital. And how all that is resolved is the way that is the most interesting part of the film.
Oh.
Joanne Woodward, of course, is also always a class act, and it's well cast and well done. And tomorrow night it's Yvette Manu, is that the way we say that? And Simon Carcondale will star in a movie called Obsessive Love. She plays sort of she's a psychopath, a kook who fantasizes a love affair with a soap opera star, and makes it come true by going to Tinseltown and having herself done over into a glamorous lady, and worms her way into the life of this character. And surprisingly enough, it's a better movie, sort of a mystery movie, than what it sounds.
Sounds a little like Play Misty for me.
Yes. And on Wednesday night, here's another one. It's called He's Not Your Son. It stars Donna Mills hospital mixes them up,
Yeah.
and sends the wrong child home with the wrong couple. Well, about 6 months later, one of the babies needs an operation, and there's a heart problem, and during the course of blood tests being made, the hospital finds that the switch has been made. Here again, it sounds pretty corny, Jack, and you know what the outcome's going to be, but it plays very well.
I don't know what the outcome's going to be. What's it called? He's Not Your Son?
He's Not Your Son, yes.
That's kind of interesting.
It is. It's very interesting. There's then a harrowing scene about how the switch goes, how the switch comes about in the hospital. It really could happen.
Was it a mistake?
Pardon me?
Was the switch a mistake?
Yes, it was a mistake. It was just done by overworked nurses.
Yeah.
And they take treating and cleaning the baby up. They just take the arm bracelet off, and the one arm bracelet falls off a shelf, and the wrong one is picked up. That's all.
You think that ever really happens?
Oh, I wouldn't bet against it, would you?
I don't know. I think that I'm probably royalty. I think there was a mix-up somewhere along the line. I think that I am probably a prince.
Did you catch yourself out in the country and blue came out?
Yeah. I was asleep and I couldn't sleep, and I discovered a pea under the blanket, under the mattress.
And of course tonight also on NBC's annual Johnny Carson, I should say, annual anniversary show comes on, and you'll see some of the same clips that we see every year. And, you know, the little humorous things that happen on the Tonight.
Yeah.
Of course,
We're gonna. I'll guarantee you one thing. We're gonna see Ed Ames throwing the tomahawk.
I think last year they skipped that one. They finally gave it a rest.
Did they?
I don't know that they should. It's always one of the more hilarious.
I still think it's the funniest thing I've ever seen.
The look on Ed Ames' face is worth watching it.
Listen now, getting back for a minute, you call it counter programming,
Right.
which means that a network like CBS knows that the men interested in baseball are going to be watching the playoff games, and that includes most men. So what CBS wants to do while those playoff games is, assuming that CBS doesn't have the playoff games, is they want to get what's left of the audience, and they want to get the biggest chunk possible. Obviously, the audience is women, so they're putting 3 strong women-oriented movies in there, right?
That's it exactly.
Channel 11 does that very kind of counter-programming today. You've got 3 stations, NBC, CBS, ABC, giving you the same news with a slightly different look on 3 channels, and you turn over to Channel 11, and they're showing Gilligan's Island, and you say, who wants to look at Gilligan's Island? And then you look at the numbers, you'd be surprised how many people don't want to see the news and would rather see Gilligan's Island or whatever, Hogan's Heroes, or, you know, that stuff that they keep. That's counter-programming.
That's right. And I think there are the cases very often that people watch a 6 o'clock news or watch a network news or
Right.
watch a 6 o'clock news, and they're really not ready for another news show at 10 o'clock. And Channel 11, the independent stations, and Channel 30, they do very well with that sort of thing.
Channel 11 is the people all over the country in the television business point at Channel 11 and the enormous success they've experienced. They really pioneered in this counter-programming thing. It used to be an independent station would say, well, the networks have got the news at 10 o'clock, so we'll have the news at 10 o'clock, and we'll try to... And that's nonsense. You can't go head-to-head with them. So they did do something different, entirely different, and it really works for them. That's something, that counter-programming didn't exist 15 years ago, did it, Pete?
To some extent it did, but generally speaking, they've got more product now. The independent stations are able to buy more product now. It's more available.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're running a new show called Bizarre at 10:30, Channel 11. That's an entirely new show, and it plays cable.
Did you say bizarre?
Bizarre is the name of it, right? I got onto that one when John Biner came to town for the local Emmys. He's part of that show, and they run one version of it on cable, you know, with nudity and some other.
I was just going to say, we used to see it on Showtime all the time. I just wonder how they're going to get it on commercial TV.
They clean it up. It's been playing for the last week or so on Channel 11.
Oh, it's a good show. It's a fun show.
They bleep out the dirty words and do the cover up on the nudity.
Oh, I wish they'd bring back, what's his name, the Englishman?
Benny Hill.
Benny Hill.
It's still playing around. I know it's in syndication. It's still in syndication, but I don't think he's made it a new one, Jack. He's a hilarious, funny man.
Did you ever interview him?
No, he's never been available for an interview. I shouldn't say put it that way. I'm sure nationally someone has gotten
Yeah.
him. But as far as I know, he's never made a trip over here. And there was one time when I tried to set up an interview with Teddy Copper, and he just was not available. He's not interested. He's big in England, and he doesn't feel that he needs it.
I'll be done. Okay, let's get back to television now. What about the playoffs?
Well, the playoffs start tomorrow afternoon. As you know, the Cubs don't have lights, so they'll be on for the afternoon games on Tuesday and Wednesday. If I'm on the target here, and of course, American League games, the Detroit Tigers and Kansas City Royals will be on in prime time starting tomorrow night, Tuesday and Wednesday, and then they just make a switch. Cubs will go on to the Padres, I think, on Thursday, as I recall, for 7:25 start. And if need be, they'll go into the weekend on Saturday night. And they just switch back and forth like that. But most of the prime time games will be between the American League players.
Now, the playoffs will run through the week. What is the date of that? Do you know the date of the World Series?
The World Series starts on Tuesday, October 9th. Yes, as I recall it.
Week from tomorrow.
A week from tomorrow, right. And it'll be on radio, too. I noticed KMOX is advertising. The playoffs will be on their facilities. And
Right.
usually Mr. Hyland also manages to pick up I should have looked into that, the World Series games as well.
It'll be an exciting year. I hope the Cubs win it.
I hope the Cubs go all the way. It's interesting, isn't it? They're really bad news for us when they come to town and when we play up there. But now we've done a switch. I was actually rooting for them hard to go on and win this. It should be an interesting set, too, between the Padres and the Cubs.
Oh, Pete, I knew I had to. I'm talking to our television editor, Pete Ron. Pete, I knew I had something to ask you. Did you see the first Hill Street Blues of the new season?
That was on last Thursday night. No,
Yeah.
I didn't see it, Jack.
Pete, I had a problem following the dialogue, and I figured it was me or my set. I talked to 3 or 4 other people, and they said the same thing. They couldn't understand what was being said. Did you see it, Frank? The first part of it was not technically muffled. It was like everybody was talking at once. The level was down. I really couldn't follow some of the dialogue.
You know, that's one of the criticisms of Hill Street Blues. I've had a lot of women tell me, I just don't know what's going on. I tune in to watch the show and I never go back because there's too much going on and too much background noise. You know, they shoot for that sort of thing. The gritty realism is what they call it. And sometimes I think they go a little bit too far, Jack.
Well, it got so realistic the other night, I couldn't understand it. I really had a tough time.
Incidentally, a week ago Saturday, I did tune in to watch your first with Lonnie Anderson and Linda Carter, the first Partners in Crime.
Right?
Bad news. It was strictly well, there again, I don't know who is going to watch that show, but sophomore, it was a bad show. It was no interest unless you have interest in looking at the ladies.
It was awful. I saw it.
Did you see it?
Yeah, but I'll tell you a couple of things. I thought Miss America was sensational. Wasn't she good?
Yeah, she was very good.
She really did a good job. And I thought that Jody said it to me. I couldn't put my finger on it. Jody said, Lonnie Anderson, whatever she does in television, the character should be close to the character she did on WKRP because that's her. And the wise talking, gum cracking musician detective that she's playing in this television show just doesn't come off. And I'm probably one of the foremost Lonnie Anderson fans in the world.
Well, at WKRP, she was son of the bubble-headed blonde. And I imagine that's the type of thing she wants to get away from, doesn't want to.
But she really wasn't. Really underneath, she was very shrewd.
Right.
And nobody put anything over on her. It was a wonderful character and would fit in this dumb thing they're doing now. I think you're right. I think this is awful. But I also, once upon a time, said that I thought that the new show called Charlie's Angels wasn't going to make it.
Well,
I've stopped predicting.
We're talking about two different things here, Jack. atrocious, bad all the way through. I don't expect I'll go back to it for quite a while and see if they can perk it up. But that doesn't mean a thing. If they come up on the ratings, the show will go on and on and on, the same way as Charlie's Angels.
Well, did they come up on the ratings?
Well, no, I don't have that report yet. I think they did fairly well on the first time around.
Well, I guess there'd be curiosity. Plus, having Vanessa Williams, that was that was quite a coup to pull that off.
It was a strong show, but there again, I think it ran against a special
Were the Emmys on that? No, not the Emmys.
Love Boat thing.
We're running out of time, Pete. Anything else?
No, that's about it for this week, Jack. I'll call you again next week.
Talk to you next week, Pete.
Enjoyed that Porgy and Bess music, by the way.
Thank you.
Bye.
Talk to you later.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. That's our television editor, Pete Ron, and a little preview of what's up and coming for television viewers everywhere. Do you get that attitude when you thumb through the TV guide? There just isn't much. So what did we do? We got a dish so we could watch all the satellites. And now we sit down where the thing looks like a phone book, and we look through that and we go, I think I'll read a magazine. There's just not much out in the airwaves there. Well, that isn't fair to say. Jody did watch that thing about the guy with the heart attack last night. It must have been good. She cried until she went to bed. She likes those things.
When you travel around the country, you folks have the opportunity to eat at a lot of different restaurants. And one of your favorite entrees, no doubt, is steak, thick and flavorful. One of the finest steaks available is right here in the St. Louis area. It's at Andrea's Steakhouse. The steaks are superb, but the way they're prepared by Sam Andrea is what makes them so special. It's the sauce he brushes on while he broils the steaks, and up until now, Andrea's brush-on steak sauce has been a family secret. Oh, Sam would fix up a bottle for you if you asked him, but now, Andrea's brush-on steak sauce is available at Schnucks, Dierberg's, and other selected food stores. Here's a warning, though. Once you try Andrea's brush-on steak sauce on your steaks or chops or other original ways of cooking, you won't want to use anything else. You folks take a tip and look for Andrea's brush-on steak sauce. It'll be the best you've ever tasted, and you'll find it at Schnucks, Dierberg's, and other selected food stores. By the way, they stake their reputation on it.
Here's what's coming up later today on KMOX.
Good afternoon. At your service for 1, Bob Hardy leading off with an open line in the noon hour. At 1 o'clock, U.S. Defense Policy. At 2, Crisis Time with Ann Keefe. Love, Marriage, and the Male at Midlife. She'll follow with an open line. You wrap up the afternoon with Charlie Brown and Dan Deerdorf on the way home. Tonight, on Sports Open Line, Dan Deerdorf, Neil Lomax, Bob Costas. And then CBS NFL football. All coming up on KMOX.
Well, isn't that nice? Al Parsons, the president of Southwestern Bell Publications, just sent me 2 golf shirts. He says, as Ray promised, look at that. And they say Southwestern Bell on them. Isn't that? Well, that's nice. See, we had a guest on the program. We had Ray Floyd, who is here today playing golf for charity. And I was kidding him about his beautiful shirt, which said Yellow Pages. I will wear that proudly. I'll try and stand in front of phone booths as much as possible. You've been shopping. I was talking to Greg Pratt this morning. You've been shopping for new cars. You better come down to Pratt Buick and see the selection. New shipment of cars just came in. Greg has been in the automobile business for a long time, but he's a new Buick dealer. That is to say, he's only been a Buick dealer now, what's it been, a year, a little longer than a year. And when you're the new kid on the block, you start playing catch up, and that's what he's doing. Offering the best buys in town on the new Buick. 85s are in stock now, and offering a great selection of fine used cars, too. Got some new ones. Listen to this, a 78 Chevy conversion van, $64.95. It won't be there tomorrow. Check it out. An 83 Buick LeSabre 4-door white, 16,000 miles. And when we advertise mileage at Greg Pratt, we can prove it. 16,000 miles, this 83 LeSabre, the full price is $76.95. Here's a Skyhawk 4-door brown, an 84, full price $9.95. It's loaded with power options. All of this at Greg Pratt Buick, backed up by a great service organization. Pratt Buick, South Kings Highway at Southwest.
This is Rex Davis. You've probably heard a lot of commercials for retirement facilities. But if you're really looking for the one place in St. Louis to retire in grand style, then there's only one choice. Gatesworth Manor overlooking Forest Park at Union and Lindell. Why would I endorse Gatesworth Manor over all the other quality retirement centers? One reason is that I believe people enjoy a beautifully maintained building with a tradition that makes me feel at home the minute I walk inside. People also enjoy sitting down to a meal served at their table, not cafeteria style, by a waitress who knows them by name. I appreciate knowing that maid service, maintenance, utilities, and 24-hour security with a nurse on duty makes life easier so that you can concentrate on friends, family, and hobbies. And right now, a number of living room suites are available for immediate occupancy. Call 367-9280. 367-9280. Gatesworth Manor, we set the standard for gracious retirement living.
Thompson's House of Kitchens and Baths invites you to discover the difference in professional kitchen designs by visiting their spacious showroom at 11718 Manchester and looking at their beautiful selection of professionally designed kitchens and bathrooms. You'll be impressed with the quality and professionalism that Thompson's puts in every design, whether for the bathroom or the kitchen. With 3 certified kitchen designers on staff, both kitchen and bathroom designs receive the benefit of years of dedicated experience and professionalism. Thompson's also has an interior designer on staff to help you in color coordination. Why don't you stop in and browse in their spacious showroom, where their knowledgeable staff will be happy to show you their kitchen displays and go over plans with you for your new or remodeled kitchen or bath. At Thompson's, their only specialty is well-designed kitchens and baths. And ask about their do-it-yourself kits for the budget-minded, too. Remember, you owe it to yourself and your home to visit Thompson's House of Kitchens on Manchester and see why more and more homemakers believe the best kitchens in St. Louis start at Thompson's.
I always figure if you just wait long enough. Now, I've been talking about buying furs at the Fur Center. I was talking about the Fur Center when it was 95 degrees outside. People thought I was crazy, and now the weather has caught up to me, and you're probably thinking about furs yourself. Well, the Fur Center is the place to shop. Fur Center in Frontenac on Lindbergh Boulevard, 3/4 of a mile north of Highway 40. First of all, let me tell you what the Fur Center is. It's a beautiful new building with parking, their own elevator, parking in the building and all that. And the people who are there are 4 of the best downtown furriers who decided that since more and more of their customers were out west, they were going to move out west. Schimmel furs, custom furs, Weiss furs, Kessler furs, and they further figured that if they moved in together, they could pool their sales staffs, pool their inventories, and pool their bills as well. And they've done just that. Tremendous savings at the Fur Center, 601 South Lindbergh Boulevard in Frontenac. See you tomorrow, KMOX, St. Louis, Missouri.